Okay, so today we're going to be talking about sick vocabulary because actually I am sick right now. I'm just getting over my cold, and so you can probably hear that in my voice. So that inspired me to teach you about sick vocabulary, specifically for a cold or a flu. So we can say that you catch a cold, okay? You don't catch a flu, you catch a cold. So what happened to me is I caught a cold, and it's not a good thing. Or you could get the flu. Pretty much means the same thing. When someone says it's going around, this means that the sickness is spreading. Many people are getting sick, so it's really common for people to say, "Oh yeah, it's going around." Actually, I said that at my work the other day. I went in, and a lot of teachers were sick, and I said, "Oh yeah, it's going around." It being the cold. The cold is spreading to almost everybody. And that always happens every season. Now, if you say, "I feel under the weather," this is not sick yet. If you say, "I feel under the weather," it means you are starting to feel sick. You don't feel very well, but you're not exactly sick. You just don't feel 100% great. As you normally do. You feel a little bit tired, maybe you start to get a little bit of a headache. So that's feeling under the weather. It's not sick yet. It's how you feel when you're starting to get sick. If you say, "I'm not feeling well," this is saying, "I am sick." So if you have to call into work, you can tell them, "I'm sick," or "I'm not feeling well, I can't come in today." And you would get what we call a sick day. A sick day is a day when you don't go into work because you're too sick to go. So you can tell them, "I'm not feeling well." And then when someone tells you that you're sick, when someone tells you that they are sick, you should say, "I hope you get well soon." It's a common phrase to say "get well soon," but if you're specifically talking to the person face to face, then you would say, "I hope you get well soon." If you're sending a message or a text, it's common to just say, "get well soon." So this means that we hope for a fast recovery, that they won't be sick for a long time, and they will feel better very quickly. So, our next word is contagious. Flus and colds are contagious. Now, what that means is it can spread from one person to another. So, if you have a cold, then you are contagious. Someone else can get your cold. So you want to avoid being in contact with people. Just be careful that you don't spread the cold because it is contagious and you don't want anyone else getting sick. Now, the last one is soothe sore throat. There should be a soothe a sore throat. So a sore throat is when you feel sick in here. You feel something bad in here. And I have that. That's why my voice isn't so clear. And if you have a sore throat, you want it to feel better. So we can drink hot liquids, like hot tea, or we can drink honey so that we can make it feel better. That means soothe, to soothe and relax the throat. So you can soothe your sore throat. Okay, so that's for our phrases, and we're moving on to symptoms. Symptoms are the things that you feel when you're sick. And we have a long list here of the different symptoms that you can get when you have a cold or the flu. So, if you say, I feel stuffy, that means that you can't breathe through your nose, and it's not so easy. Sometimes you can't breathe at all through your nose, and you have to breathe through your mouth if you're feeling very stuffy. And then you have to blow your nose, and it can be really hard to breathe. This is the same as congested. It's when you feel stuffy inside your nose, but it can also kind of be that stuffiness inside your head, which is kind of what I have now. It's where, when you get a cold and you can't think very clearly, you think very slowly, and it just makes life so much more difficult because you're so slow and everything is not clear, so you're congested. I hate that feeling. I think that's one of the worst feelings, is being congested. So that's similar to feeling stuffy. Feeling stuffy is just in your nose. Congested can be your nose, sinuses, and of course your head. So the next is feeling fatigued. Fatigue is when you feel very tired because you're sick. There's no reason why you feel tired or exhausted. It's just because you're sick. And I had this just yesterday. I went to the mall and I was walking around, and just like 15 minutes of walking made me feel so fatigued. I had to sit down and rest and just breathe. So I was feeling very fatigued yesterday, and it's a terrible feeling. It's just basically feeling tired or not having the energy that you normally have. It's a real lack of energy, is feeling fatigued. Next is fever. Fever is an awful thing. A fever is when you have a temperature, so you can check your temperature in your ear, or you can put a thermometer in your mouth, or you can check your forehead. And if you're hot, if your forehead is hot, you have a fever. When you have a fever, other people will feel your head and say that you're hot, or they can feel your arm and you feel hot. But normally, when you have a fever, you feel cold, even though your body is actually hot. So that's a fever. This is what I had yesterday, dry eyes. So dry eyes is when your eyes don't have any water or any liquid in them, and it's kind of hard to see, you blink a lot. And the worst thing to do is to go into the air conditioning, because AC, the air from the AC, will make your eyes feel even drier, and it's very uncomfortable. The opposite of that is watery eyes or teary eyes. That's when you're feeling sick and liquid or water is just tears, we call them. Tears are just coming out of your eyes. And that happens too. Actually, when I was sick, I woke up with watery eyes, and later, I woke up with tears coming out of my eyes, and then later, when I went into the air conditioning, my eyes were very dry, and there was no water at all. So, the next we have sinus infection. And infection can be anywhere in the body, but we're going to focus on the sinuses. The sinuses is in your nose, and it also connects to your ears. So when you feel something bad around here, that's when you have a sinus problem. Now, a sinus infection is when you're stuffy, you're congested, but there's like a bad smell inside your sinuses. And when you have this and you try to eat food, food doesn't taste right. You can't taste food anymore. You either taste nothing or you taste that awful infection taste in your mouth that will not go away. That's a sinus infection. And even if you drink, you might not taste the drink or even taste the food that you're trying to eat. So you could be eating your favorite food and it tastes absolutely terrible.